Good morning. This is Bob Passy again. Um, Another one in the series of Demonstrate for Democracy, or for Democracy Rising America, wherever you might see it fitting. This is about, I'll call it doing the math. We have a society, a country that is run right now by basically 1% of the economic elite that are making the decisions for everyone else and not paying much attention to the needs of the society. In fact, they're riding roughshod over them, and because they are locked into, they and we, as a matter of fact, are locked into a neoliberal economic system that makes life more a matter of how much profit it produces rather than the human elements that democracy would otherwise attend to. So we have the 1% that are making the decision, and we have 99% of the people who are affected by them in mostly in very negative ways. And the question is, why can the 99% not outnumber outvote, out-demonstrate whatever the 1%? And of course, one of the answers would tend to be money. But one of the phrases that I've used for years is boots on the ground, Trump's money in the bank. Actually, I was saying that before Trump was there. And it's still true. We outnumber the economic elite by an incredible amount, and somehow we can't get our act together. I would offer one answer, is that instead of our 99% being an additive amount, we tend to do another kind of math. We divide. We divide it into movements that are working for specific issues like gay rights or Black Lives Matter or Common Cause or any of the organizations, environmental issues, whatever the issues are. We tend to divide up into those other groups who are, they're not against each other, but they're not working together, and they don't provide a cohesive face to the opposition to the 1% rule. So the idea behind Demonstrating for Democracy is to find a way to unify all of that opposition. And the idea is that, the great tradition in this country is the heritage of democracy. It was there from the beginning, and it has moved forward and stops and starts. Right now, it's being attacked in pretty incredible ways, and parts of it are disappearing quickly. It's a little bit like thinking about a retaining wall holding back this mighty ocean of wealth that wants to inundate and drown out democracy, much like the analogy of Grover, what's his name, Norquist, who said he wanted to make democracy, make government so small that you could put it in a bathtub, and then he wanted to drown it. Well, that's kind of what it is. So we see the leaks in the retaining wall, and we're rushing around trying to plug those leaks in 99 different places. And we don't find enough ways to work together. Meanwhile, they are undermining the wall, and as in New Orleans, they're going to disappear. It is very much like the analogy of the little boy with his finger in the dike in Holland that saved Holland from being inundated from the ocean. Not a real story, but a story I'm sure many of you know. And so we have to find a way to find a rallying cry to connect everybody. And I would say that what connects everybody is that we all know that if we had a democracy again rather than an oligarchy, many of those issues would simply disappear because the will of the people wants very different changes in our direction, and the people would be listened to. And the other thing is that um, that the problems that did still exist in a democracy would be worked on in a way that would be much easier to find solutions. We wouldn't be fighting against a group of people who really don't want to solve the problems, they just want to make money. So my suggestion is that we stop seeing ourselves as divided and competing for membership and funds from the same group of people who believe in democracy, but to find a way to, what I would call, create a national registry for democracy that would simply list all of those groups who are working for their very important issues, but also are willing to join the train, the bandwagon, and say, yes, basically what we want to do is move back to more democracy, and if we did that, that would help us accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. In fact, it might make the whole issue disappear. So on one hand, we belong in the big tent of we want democracy of the 100% rather than the 1% rule. And we still are interested in this particular issue, but we can see that if we join together with everybody else and their different issues that are really at heart, really wanting to go back to a democracy again, we will be much stronger and we will present a united face. So nothing has to be given up. It just has to be acknowledged that we're all connected to each other because we all want to move this nation back to its democratic past and away from its oligarchic present. So I'm old enough so that it's not in my realm anymore. I'm sort of past my use-by date, so I'm not in a position exactly to formulate all of this, other than suggest the ideas as a viable answer. But it needs people, and not just young people, but people who understand the internet, people who understand how to put together those kinds of programs, to pick up the ball and to find a way to set up a national registry for democracy, and begin to ask these large organizations and the small organizations, the people who write about democracy, can be a part of that. They can, if they're going to provide food for the people who go out and demonstrate, they can be part of it. Everybody can be part of it. It's sort of like a train beginning to load passengers to go in a different direction from what I would call the dystopian express that's going to take us right over the cliff. So we have to create an alternative, a positive alternative, rather than being simply against the economic system, neoliberal economic system. We need to provide a vision of a positive alternative. And if we can get people and organizations to join into something like a national registry for democracy, and show kind of like a thermometer or something online, that just think of how many people that would be if you put Common Cause there and Black Lives Matter and and Democracy Now and all of those organizations, Move On, and the people working against the money in politics and all of those things, and show down on a thermometer that how many people that represents. The right wing would get very nervous, and the economic elite would say, whoa, what's going on? Anyway, something for you to think about. Goodbye now.